Day 14 of the war, Israel's allies are joining the action, namely the United States. They've got a lot of firepower in West Asia, and on Thursday it was put to use. The target? Yemen's Houthi rebels. Missiles and drones were fired from Yemen. The assumption is that they were headed to Israel. And that's when a U.S. warship, the USS Carney, sprung into action. It shot down 3 missiles, also several Houthi drones. The Pentagon has confirmed this operation. They've also said they will do it again if necessary.
This action was a demonstration of the integrated air and missile defense architecture that we have built in the Middle East and that we are prepared to utilize whenever necessary to protect our partners and our interests in this important region.
Now, the Carney is a destroyer. It was stationed in the Red Sea, but American assets are spread all over the region. Like in the Eastern Mediterranean, there are 2 U.S. aircraft carriers there, the USS Gerald Ford and the USS Dwight Eisenhower. Now, the idea here is to deter outside actors. But these American assets are also targets. Many of them have been hit this week. On Tuesday, Iraq's Al-Assad base was targeted by drones. The base hosts American soldiers and assets. The attacks caused minor injuries. The same day, there was another attack to the north on the Bashur air base. Again, drones were used, but no injuries. On Wednesday, U.S. forces in Syria were attacked. 2 drones targeted at the Al-Tanf garrison. Both were destroyed. That same day, there were attack alerts in Iraq as well at the Al-Assad base. The U.S. soldiers decided to take cover, but the attack never came. It did on Thursday, though. Drones and rockets hit the same military base. Reports say multiple blasts were heard inside. Rockets also hit U.S. forces near Baghdad. Now, that's a lot of attacks in 3 days. Who is behind them? Possibly Iranian proxies. Last week, they threatened to attack U.S. assets in Iraq and Syria. Looks like they were serious about it. But these groups are playing a dangerous game. There are 2,500 American soldiers in Iraq, another 900 in Syria. The casualties so far have been negligible. But if there is a major attack, the U.S. could get drawn in. And they have enough firepower to retaliate, to hit back hard. Whether that happens or not depends on many factors, and the biggest one of them is Israel's next move. A lot depends on that, what Israel decides to do next. Right now, Israel is striking Gaza non-stop. Even civilian sites and shelters are being targeted. The death toll has crossed 4,000. More than 1,500 of them are children. Violence has also spread to the West Bank. On Thursday, Israel conducted an airstrike there. Reports say 12 Palestinians were killed. Now, this is rare for Israel. They do deploy soldiers into the West Bank, but airstrikes are rare. So far, around 70 Palestinians have died in the West Bank, plus around 800 arrested. Things could get even worse if Israel invades Gaza. In fact, they are bracing for it. The Muslim world has united against Israel. There are street protests across Muslim capitals. So Israel has made a drastic move. They've decided to pull out diplomats. Israeli officials have started to leave Turkey. Reports say they are considering similar moves in other Western countries as well, West Asian countries. The problem seems to be security. Let's assume that Israel invades Gaza. Then the public anger would be much more. Israeli missions and diplomats would be prime targets, hence the withdrawal. Regional and world powers have already warned of this. They're expecting a wider war.
As for the Gaza Strip, the risk of this crisis escalating into a regional conflict is quite serious. I have already mentioned that the United States vetoed a resolution that called for a stop to any hostilities and to begin to resolve humanitarian issues. And if this is so, then they will probably believe the conflict may grow.
We hope to have better news, but honesty requires us to say that we fear for the worst. Everything indicates that the worst is yet to come. We are working with all our capabilities to prevent that.
The worst is yet to come. For once, that's not fear-mongering. It's a fairly honest assessment. Take a look at these pictures. The Israeli army released them. They show airstrikes across the Israel-Lebanon border. That's the northern front. Things have been heating up there in the last few days, especially after the Gaza hospital attack. On Wednesday, Hezbollah struck targets on the Israeli side. Smoke was seen rising from the border hills. Of course, Israel struck back. They have stationed plenty of tanks and soldiers near the northern border. They're also evacuating people. The city of Kiryat Shimona has been struck by Hezbollah rockets. So its 20,000 residents have now been asked to leave. There is a no-go zone near the border. It's around 2 kilometers wide. So Israel is bracing for an escalation in the north, a possible attack by the Iran-backed Hezbollah. However, their main focus is down south, that is the Gaza Strip. Both Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister visited the front lines. They interacted with IDF soldiers, and both men had the same indirect message: get ready for the ground invasion.
אני פה עם הלוחמים של גולני, הם באים מכל חלקי הארץ, הם לחמו כמו אריות, אם ילחמו כמו אריות, אתם מוכנים להמשך? כן! אנחנו הולכים לנצח בכל העוצמה, אתם מוכנים? כן! כל עם ישראל עומד מאחוריכם, ואנחנו ניתן את המכה הקשה לאויבים שלנו, כדי שנשיג ניצחון לניצחון. מוכנים? כן!
אנחנו בוטחים בכם וסומכים עליכם. תמשיכו להתאמן, כל עוד יש זמן, תתארגנו, תהיו מוכנים. הפקודה תגיע. תודה רבה חבר'ה, סומכים עליכם, בהצלחה, ואנחנו עוד ניפגש, ומי שרואה עכשיו את עזה מרחוק, יראה אותה מבפנים. אני מבטיח לכם. בהצלחה.
Now to sum up, airstrikes continue in Gaza. Anger is growing in the Muslim world. Protests are escalating in the West Bank. Attacks are more frequent at the Lebanon-Israel border. And US military assets are being targeted. It's like a non-stop journey to all-out war. There are exit ramps all over. The question is, are leaders looking for an exit?